This one truth will change how you see your life forever, because one choice creates your entire path. If you're looking for motivation, wisdom, and life lessons, take the path of purpose.
What is the nature of reality? What is reality? It is a question that has echoed across the centuries, pondered by ancient mystics, modern scientists, and everyone in between. It is a question that touches the core of our existence. What is real? And how do we know it? Are we experiencing the world as it truly is? Or are we trapped in illusions shaped by our senses, our minds, and our culture? To understand the nature of reality is to embark on a journey that bridges philosophy, science, spirituality, and human experience. From the earliest days of human history, people have tried to make sense of the world around them. The ancient Greeks gave us some of the earliest philosophical explorations of reality. Plato's famous allegory of the cave describes people chained in a cave, only able to see shadows on the wall. To them, those shadows are reality, but in truth, they are only projections of real objects outside the cave. Plato argued that most people live in ignorance, mistaking illusion for truth. Only the philosopher, through reason and enlightenment, can escape the cave and perceive reality as it truly is. Aristotle, Plato's student, took a more empirical approach. He believed that reality was composed of physical substances, and that knowledge came from observing the natural world. His ideas laid the groundwork for what would eventually become the scientific method. Even in disagreement, both philosophers were trying to answer the same question: what is reality, and how can we know it? Fast forward to the 17th century, and we find René Descartes, who questioned everything he thought he knew. Cogito ergo sum, I think. Therefore, I am became his foundation. He doubted the senses, the body, even the external world, but found certainty in the fact that he could think. Descartes reminded us that reality might not be what we assume it to be, and that we must question our perceptions. But it wasn't just philosophy that sought to explain reality. Science began to reveal hidden layers beneath what we see. Newton described a world of objects moving according to laws predictable, measurable, and objective. This view dominated for centuries and shaped how we built our technologies, economies, and societies. Then, in the 20th century, science shattered those certainties. Albert Einstein's theory of relativity showed that time and space were not fixed, but flexible. Time can stretch, space can bend, and two observers can experience reality differently. Suddenly, reality was not as solid as we had thought. Then came quantum mechanics. In the strange world of the quantum, particles can be in two places at once. They do not have definite properties until they are observed. The famous double-slit experiment shows that light can behave as both a particle and a wave, depending on how we measure it. Reality, at the most fundamental level, seems to be shaped by observation. This raises profound questions. Is reality objective, or does our consciousness play a role in creating it? Some interpretations of quantum mechanics, like the Copenhagen interpretation, suggest that physical systems do not have definite properties until they are observed. Others, like the many worlds interpretation, propose that every possible outcome actually happens in parallel universes. In one, you chose to read this speech. In another, you didn't. These are not science fiction, they are serious theories debated by some of the world's most brilliant minds. But what does all this mean for us? If time is relative, and particles can exist in multiple states, then what is real? Are we just collections of atoms obeying physical laws? Or is there more, something deeper, something unseen? Spiritual traditions have long claimed that there is more to reality than meets the eye. In Hinduism, the concept of Maya suggests that the world we perceive is an illusion, a veil, covering the ultimate truth, which is Brahman, the infinite, eternal source of all existence. Buddhism teaches that reality is impermanent, interconnected, and that the self is an illusion. In Christianity and Islam, reality is not limited to the material world. It includes the spiritual realm, the divine, the eternal. These teachings echo what quantum physics hints at, that what we perceive is only part of the picture. Our senses are limited. We see only a narrow band of light. We hear only a fraction of the sound spectrum. Most of reality is invisible to us, yet we act as if what we see is all there is. The truth is, we are peering through a keyhole and calling it the whole world. The rise of neuroscience adds another layer. Our brains do not passively record the world, they actively construct it. What we experience as color, sound, even time, is a result of neural processing. The red apple is not red in itself. It reflects light in a certain way, and our brain interprets it as red. Reality, then, is a collaboration between the external world and our internal perceptions. This doesn't mean that nothing is real. It means that reality is more complex than we ever imagined. It is shaped by physical laws, yes, but also by consciousness, by perception, and by meaning. And that brings us to perhaps the most profound truth. Reality is not just what is what matters. Meaning is what gives reality its depth. Without it, the universe is just matter and energy. But with it, reality becomes a story, a journey, a purpose. When we fall in love, when we create art, when we sacrifice for others, we touch a dimension of reality that cannot be measured by instruments. We feel something deeper, something truer. So what is the nature of reality? It is physical and spiritual. It is scientific and poetic. It is external and internal. It is what we can touch, and also what we can only feel. It is governed by laws, and yet it allows for freedom, creativity, and wonder. Reality is a mystery, but not one meant to paralyze. Use it is a mystery meant to inspire us. It calls us to explore, to question, to dream. It invites us to embrace not just the known, but the unknown. The fact that we ask, what is real, is itself a sign of something extraordinary, that we are aware, that we are seekers, that we are conscious beings in a universe vast beyond comprehension. But perhaps the most important aspect of reality is that it is shared. We live in a world of other minds, other lives, other perspectives, and that means we have a responsibility. If we deny reality, if we reject truth, if we ignore the suffering of others, we are not just distorting our own lives, we are damaging the collective reality we all inhabit. Truth matters. Empathy matters. Integrity matters. These are not abstract ideals, they are the pillars of a shared reality where humanity can thrive. When we lie, we fracture trust. When we dehumanize others, we deny their reality. When we close our minds, we stop growing. But when we speak the truth, when we seek understanding, when we choose compassion, we build a reality worth living in. One where people are seen, one where meaning is created, one where the future is not just survived, but embraced. So what is the nature of reality? It is a question that has no final answer. But in asking it, we find our purpose. to live with awareness, to seek truth, to love deeply, to create beauty, to serve others, to stand in awe of the mystery. We may never fully grasp reality, but we can shape it, and in that shaping, we become more real ourselves. The greatest minds in history, from Socrates to Einstein, from Rumi to Hawking, did not claim to have all the answers, but they never stopped asking. They never stopped wondering. They never stopped seeking the truth. And neither should we, because in the end, reality is not just something to understand, it is something to live.